Thanks so much, Ellie. Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Anna Blackmore. Really excited to have you guys on the call tonight. And I want to actually just begin by saying, if you are brand new and coming to hear about essential oils and you're feeling a little bit skeptical, then welcome to the club, because my background I want to tell you about. So my father was a radiologist, and so I grew up very much in a medical home. And I actually hilariously remember as a child, there was this very famous natural lady doctor in South Africa, and I used to watch him come home from work and say to my mum, I had another patient today who was complaining about and Adele Davis says, and I remember going like, who's this Adele Davis? And just hilariously thinking, okay, well, natural medicine is obviously like nowhere. And then I studied dietetics myself, which is a science degree. I then moved into the pharmaceutical industry for about almost 15 years. So, I mean, I was getting lots of medicines free and just never thought twice, always jumping for medicine. I remember when my first baby was born, all the mums in my area were buying organic wipes and organic cereals. And I was like, no, man, the no-name brand's good enough. I don't know what they're on about. But I just never actually had taken the time to do the research. And so, what you don't know can't hurt you. And I was told about essential oils by a friend of mine who's also my dermatologist. We actually had our first babies together, but she actually had started speaking to me about skincare and what the impact is of what you put on your skin. And I was really interested because as a dietitian, I'm very interested. My whole life, I've been very interested in nutrition and the impact on nutrition on our health. So when she started speaking about your skin, I realized, wow, you can't ignore this, because it doesn't help that you're trying to fix your body with your diet, and then you undo all the good again with things that you're putting on your skin and you're absorbing through your skin. And so I really started to do a lot of research. And at the time, she told me about the oils, and I was like, I know her, I trust her. If she says it's good, let me just give it a go. And I had no idea what essential oils were. Like I said, I wasn't naturally minded. Thank goodness for the amazing community that we have within Young Living. I still learn every single day. Just today, somebody that I introduced actually taught me something again about an oil. And I just love that. I learn every day. And from the moment I started using them, had these amazing experiences. And my eldest daughter, I had really struggled with her health, and we had been to countless specialists, surgery, she'd had a CT scan, she'd been on chronic cortisone for a year without any success. And actually the first time that I was able to fix her up was using my essential oils. And that was when I realized, there is actually something amazing about nature too. Don't be so narrow-minded. And the last conference that I actually attended as a pharmaceutical marketing manager was with the World Congress for Physicians, was hosted in Cape Town in South Africa. And various of the speakers actually got up and said, as a medical doctor today, if you don't start thinking more integratively, in 10 years from now, you're going to be dead in the water. So it is amazing. Medicine is changing. And I also watched an amazing link the other day that somebody sent me of a Young Living member in the US. And she's a medical doctor, and she stated, I forget her name, so I can't properly give her credit, but she said that Western medicine is fantastic maybe to help you when you're extremely sick, but it isn't necessarily very good in keeping us healthy. And I thought, wow, that's so wise. It's so helpful to actually just start trying to prevent getting sick, and not just always trying to deal with symptoms of stuff that a lot of it we are causing with the way we live, because we're living in a very instantaneous lifestyle. And I'm going to go a little bit in and just give you a little bit of background before we really dive into the oils. But humanity today is actually sicker than we've ever been before. And it's crazy because we have the most technology, we are the most advanced that we've ever been, and yet we just aren't healthy. But the problem is that we want everything instant and we want everything unnatural. We've forgotten how amazing nature is, and that we were actually created with lots of beautiful things on this earth. And we've lost that with our modern society. And a lot of the things we expose ourselves to, it's newer, and we don't always know. I actually just was doing a video earlier today talking about plastic. And it was a program that I saw on a South Africans will all know this. We have a very good local like news program called Carte Blanche. And they always look at interesting topics and hot topics. And they had this program on plastics and how we are breathing in plastics, and it's in the air, and they're finding it in like shells and things in the ocean. But plastic has only been around for something like 40 years. So we actually don't really know yet what the impact is on our health. And it's the same with products that we are using. Our skincare, our home cleaning products, these things are filled with chemicals, and it's all very, very sort of newer, modern things. And we actually don't know. And we assume when we see something on the shelf that it's clean and that it's safe to use. And when you actually start to educate yourself and learn about it, you realize that that isn't actually the case at all. So I'm not going to go into massive detail on it tonight because I'd like us to really get to the good stuff. But I want to advise you to look at a website, ewg.org. It's the Environmental Working Group's website. And they have a skin deep database. So if you go on there, there is loads of information. And what I've loved about it is when I look at a product and there is something in the ingredients that I don't know what it means, I can actually put that into that skin deep database and they will rate it for you from 1 to 9, 10 actually being the absolute worst in toxicity, how good or bad that ingredient is. And there's also a fantastic app that's free to download on your phone called Think Dirty. So with that, you can actually scan a barcode of a product and then you can find the same information that also rates 0 to 10 or 1 to 10. It's an American app. So I find in South Africa, often our barcodes don't work, but I use the search function and search for the brand because a lot of the brands we have here are international brands. So we may have a different barcode, but you'll still find answers around those products. So I really want to recommend that you start looking at these two and just start learning a bit. But I'll highlight for you what really, really caught my attention. And there are two things, because these things are in basically everything we use. It's fragrance and foaming agents. So let me begin with foaming agents because everything foams, right? Think about it. Your toothpaste foams that you actually look like you have rabies when you brush your teeth. Your hand wash foams, your shampoo foams, all your cleaning stuff foams, your dishwash, your laundry soap. But the main ingredient in foaming agents is something called sodium lauryl sulfate. So now that I've told you, go and have a look at your products at home and you're going to see how many actually contain this ingredient. And when you look at the health impact of sodium lauryl sulfate, it is a really horrible chemical. It's the same thing that we use to take car grease off a floor, and it's a very well-known endocrine disruptor, meaning that it upsets your hormonal balance. And again, most women these days are struggling with some kind of issue with their hormones, and it may not be an overt like diagnosed thing, but it may just be it's causing you to be constantly tired, not sleeping well, maybe feeling anxious, maybe feeling moody, but these things are affecting us. So that's foaming agents. And then the other one that is fragrance, because everything is fragrance, because we also think that if something doesn't smell nice, we don't want it. And unfortunately, synthetic fragrances have a whole bunch of chemicals in. So, if you see that word fragrance or sometimes listed as parfum or perfume on a label, you think, well, how bad can that possibly be? That's something that makes the product smell nice. And if you actually go and look what is in fragrance, that one word can hide up to 300 different chemicals. And unfortunately, the main ones are two chemicals. The one is formaldehyde, which I think you all know is a horrible chemical known to cause cancer. It's the same thing that you use to preserve a cadaver. Like if you're in a museum and they've got those cadavers, that's formaldehyde. And the other thing is a chemical called phthalates. And phthalates are also terrible in disrupting your hormonal balance. Those are the two main ones that make that fragrance sit on your skin and then stick there. So, but there are many others, like I say. And unfortunately, also the law is written in a way to protect the manufacturers, like their secret recipe for how they make their smell, so they don't have to divulge. But it also means that you can kind of dump a lot of stuff in a product and not have to list it on your ingredients. So if I now see that on a product, I don't buy it. And especially with my kids, because when I started doing this research, I even found that you'll buy fragrance-free wipes, baby wipes, and then when you actually look what's in them, then it's listed as a toxic one, like on Think Dirty or Environmental Working Group, and then what's in it? Fragrance. Because what they do is they put like a neutral fragrance in and then call it fragrance free, because now it's not fragranced as lavender or whatever it is. So really be careful of that word. And then there are so many other chemicals. You can imagine all the chlorines, our toilet bowl cleaners, the chemicals that come in our laundry soaps and in our dishwashing liquids. There are so many horrible ones. And I'm not going to go into so much detail on them tonight. We have some other people in our community who are fantastic at explaining the chemicals, but I really just want to give you this overview and encourage you to educate and go and have a look, because once you know, you can't unknow it again. And it's worth your while. And I think what you're going to hear tonight actually is how absolutely simple it is to change it. And with the help of the community, and I've actually found that I have saved an absolute fortune, because I've started getting rid of the causes of things that are making us sick in the first place. And we're just, if before I hand back to Ali, I want to actually just quickly touch on this documentary that you'll find on Netflix called The Human Experiment. You can look, because there are a couple, just look for the one that's narrated by Sean Penn. But they look over the last 45 years, increases in illnesses that we know are very much environmentally caused. So things like ADHD, allergies. I think if I remember the stats correctly, ADHD has increased with about 53%, allergies with 80%, increases in breast cancer, and specifically cancer in children and leukemia in children, which is very well documented actually to be an environmental disease. I think that has increased with something like 74% over the last 40 years. Infertility, I think in the USA alone, 49% increase in women who either can't fall pregnant or struggle to carry to term. So we know that these things are affecting our health, and we assume that this is a regulated industry, but it actually isn't. So it's up to us to educate ourselves and protect ourselves and our families, because we are the gatekeepers to our homes. We decide what our kids use. In my case, I very much influence what my husband uses as well. And so I feel I am also largely responsible, even though he's an adult, I am responsible for my family's health, really. And so, yes, I'd like to encourage you to learn a bit more about that. But let me end the doom and gloom, and let's move on to the good stuff. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you, Anna. I know it's scary. Every time I hear about it, it scares me. So what do we do with this information, right? So why are we talking about essential oils? And the reason that we're talking is that people do like to smell good. They do want to have clean homes. So what do you do when you don't want to use chemicals and you want to smell good and you want to have all these nice things? Is we turn to natural essential oils. And for our family, it was really about what we like to call health freedom. How do we have at our fingertips not only how to stay clean and be beautiful and how to smell good, but how do we have the things on hand that actually get to the root of our health issues, and are not masking symptoms and don't have side effects. And so I think that's super powerful things about essential oils, which comes from the root, the stems, the leaves of plants. In the case of citrus oils, they're cold pressed from the rind of citrus oils. One thing that's super interesting is that before patent law, there was always plant medicine until patent law came into play. And then as patent law came into play, part of patent law is that you cannot patent nature. You have to modify nature in some way to get a patent on it. And that's where, as the Industrial Revolution happened and they realized that they could copy the chemical constituents in a plant and make a medication out of it, that's where our drug system is where it is today. So still today, almost all of our drugs are derived from copying chemical constituents of plants. And when you think about that, you think, well, why not use essential oils then, or the plant themselves, right? And so the essential oils are very potent versions of the plant. Herbs are awesome, but herbs are dried, dead material, whereas an essential oil is a living, volatile substance and is much more potent and powerful than the herb sister or brother to that plant. The other thing is that when you distill an essential oil properly, with pressure and steam distillation, there's no proteins left in that plant afterwards. So that means that if you have an allergy to lavender, for instance, you can use lavender oil, which by the way is an amazing antihistamine for your allergies. The exception to that again is citrus oils, because they are cold pressed. So if you have a citrus allergy, you will be allergic most likely to that citrus oil. So there's tons of essential oils on the market these days, because they're all the rage. And they're the rage because really of a company called Young Living, which is why we're here talking about Young Living, because they are really kind of the modern day inventors of essential oils. The founder of Young Living, his name was Gary Young, hence the name of the company. He was on a journey to figure out how to distill essential oils properly as he started to learn about their health benefits. And they are super, super powerful little molecules. In fact, every single drop of oil, actually one drop of oil, has up to 40 million trillion molecules in that drop, which means it can do really cool things like get inside of cells and digest viruses that live inside of cells. So this has always been an amazing thing for especially a mom to have, as we give birth to these little petri dishes that bring all their germs home to us, right? But especially right now in the world that we're living in, it's really nice to know that we have very powerful plants that can help us stay well in these times. So something else that's super cool about essential oils is that when they are distilled properly, they have at least 100 healing chemical constituents per plant, which means a few things. It means that you can be fixing something in your body accidentally. It also means that you can use an oil for one thing, maybe just smell, and be finding that you're balancing your blood pressure or balancing your blood sugar levels or doing all these actual accidental benefits when you're using an oil for one thing and finding a use for it somewhere else. It also makes them extremely versatile from a monetary standpoint, is that you can buy the most commonly used oils and have lots and lots of uses for them. So there's lots of essential oils out there. How do you know what's good? And that is really like where a lot of people question. There's oils all over the place. How do you know what's a good oil? So what I would say is that the industry is really kind of scary. It's kind of the Wild West out there with essential oils. There's no definitive, there we go. We got a kiddo there. There's no authoritative body over essential oils regulating that in the industry. So even if you see the words 100% pure, 100% natural, organic, there's very little teeth to any of that. Even if it says organic, there can be up to 15% chemical in it. And even if it's USDA organic, it can be up to 5% chemical. But there's actually no regulation at all of how much essential oil is in a bottle versus how much carrier oil. So you can buy a bottle of peppermint oil. It can have 1 drop of organic peppermint or 1 drop of chemical fragrance peppermint and be filled with an organic carrier oil like grapeseed, for instance, which has very little smell. So there's really, it's hard to tell what's going to be good until your nose gets used to it, until you know how to watch for the things. So when I learned about Young Living, it was really powerful because I could actually go visit the farms. I could see how the plants were grown, because Young Living is one of the only companies in the world that actually owns its own farms, its own distilleries, and has what's called a seed to seal program that makes sure that from the time that the seed is planted to the time that the oil goes into the bottle, that everything is beyond organic standards. The soil is prepared for at least twice as long as soil even needs to be prepared for organic standards. The seeds are analyzed to make sure that it's a good seed. There's never any chemical used during the growth or the distillation of the plant. And from the time that it goes into the bottle, after it goes into the bottle, I think it's 42 tests that every oil goes through, and then they bottle it and then they test again. So is it a good distillation? Are the chemical constituents high enough in that distillation? Is it the plant that we thought it was? Because there's plants that look like other plants. Is there any heavy metal that might have gotten into the soil through the water supply? Is there any kind of mold or bacteria? Is there anything inorganic, a chemical that's in here? So many tests are run on these oils to make sure that when you get that bottle, that whatever you're going to use it for from a healing perspective, it is what you need it to be. So let me see here. The other thing that I really love about essential oils is that it is still a family-owned company. And that may not be a big deal for the normal world. It's a really big deal to me because I came from corporate America where it was all about profit margin. And it wasn't about, doing the right thing and having a heart for the world. It was about how do we make sure that the shareholders get the most wealth from this product. And with Young Living, the founders always have said, we make a product for a purpose, not for a profit. You will find that in the fact that the founders still live in the same house, driving the same old car. That is not the reason they do this. This is a multi-billion-dollar company now, shockingly. In the last 25 years, it's grown to that. And still they live a very humble life because they are huge into giving back into the world and the community. They have a foundation called the Young Living Foundation, which gives a ton of money, and 100% of the donations go directly to helping people for things like recovering women from sex trafficking and helping people with parasites that they've been excluded from their communities, all kinds of really amazing projects that Young Living is involved in. So it's a very, very special company. I encourage you to just get involved with our community because it's such a beautiful community. I could go on and on about Young Living, but I think I need to hand it over. And I think next is ways to use oil. So I'm going to hand it to Claudia.
Thanks, Ellie. Okay, so there are actually a few ways to use essential oils, which I'm going to talk about. So the first one is actually ingesting. So when I speak about ingesting, I'm only speaking about Young Living essential oils because we do not know what are in the other oils. So our oils are actually 100% pure. They have no synthetics, so they are definitely safe to ingest. So the ways that you can actually ingest them is putting them in a veggie capsule. So you can put a few drops in a capsule. What I would suggest is put a few drops of carrier oil, maybe coconut, because the thing is, if you take the oils neat, sometimes you burp it up, and that is not fun. So I tend to put a few drops of coconut oil, especially when it comes to peppermint, because that is a very strong taste. The other thing is you can actually put them in your water or your tea. A nice Thieves tea is amazing when you feel like your nose is runny or you have a sore throat or anything like that. And then also to your water. So I drink orange in my water every day, and it just makes it so much easier to drink water. So examples are actually lemon, grapefruit, citrus fresh, all those absolutely yummy oils. So one thing when you think about ingesting is to remember to not ingest them in plastic, because the thing is the oils are so strong that they'll actually pull out the toxins in the plastic, and then you end up ingesting them, which is what we're trying to avoid completely. So glass and stainless steel is the perfect way to ingest the oils. The other thing that you can do is actually put it in what we call a honey sandwich. So you take a teaspoon, layer honey, a few drops of the oils that you want to add, put some honey on top, and then that you ingest them that way. It just takes, if it's too strong, then the honey makes it a bit easier. The second way is to use them topically. So if you have a sore shoulder, put the oil directly on your shoulder. It works amazing. Sore muscles, things like that. So one thing to remember is that your skin is your largest organ. So the essential oils are actually rapidly absorbed by your skin. So within 30 seconds, they are into your bloodstream. And in 30 minutes, they are in every single blood cell in your body, which is absolutely amazing because the molecules are so small. What you can then also do is apply them to your VitaFlex points. So that is also known as reflexology. So your feet, your hands, your spine, your ears. If you look at the immunity roller, or if you put immunity roller down the spine and under your feet, is perfect for that. Your feet actually has over 2,000 pores, and they're also the largest pores that are on your body. So if you apply the oils to the bottom of your feet, it is kind of the best way to absorb because the pores are so big. And then there are two places that you should not put essential oils, and that is your eyes and your ears, because it is going to burn. But if that happens accidentally, which I have had with peppermint, if I have a headache, apply it here, it comes into my eyes. Coconut oil or any carrier oil or milk is perfect to take the burn away. And then also if you apply an oil that feels hot, that is like peppermint or Thieves, Do not try and wash it away with water. I would suggest using carrier oil or even milk. That is perfect to take the burn away. The third way to use essential oils is actually by inhalation, because this is the fastest way to reach the mood center, and that is through your nose. So in less than 1 second, the essential oils actually hit your limbic system, and it has the power to affect your mood. So if I feel like I'm getting grumpy, what I do is I either take the oil, I inhale directly, or I literally put a drop in my hand, rub it together, cup it over my nose and inhale, and I can promise you not 10 minutes or 5 minutes and I'm already feeling better. So sometimes, I think I just need to take an oil and then I'll feel better, and that is mostly what happens. And then the last way to use essential oils is actually to diffuse. So in your starter kit, you get an amazing diffuser. So this is actually ultrasonic. So the diffuser disperses the tiny molecules into the air, and this absorbs into your body. So not only do you smell it, but it also goes into your skin. The diffusers are actually amazing for children who cannot swallow the oils. So, if they need to go to sleep or you want to help them with immunity, the diffuser is the best thing to use. And then also I feel like, why would you want to burn a candle if you can diffuse something that can actually help with your health? Like anything, when you have the seasonal sniffles or immunity or something like that, I would rather actually diffuse than burn a candle. So I'm going to hand back to Ali, and she's going to tell us about the starter kit. Thanks, Ali.
Thank you, Claudine. So Young Living has a lot of products. Depending on which country you're in, is basically how many products you have. In the US, this is our headquarters. We're based here. And so we have almost 800 products now in US. And so that can be super overwhelming for someone. So what Young Living has done is they have beautifully curated starter kits that are drastically discounted. And every country has different kinds of starter kits that they can get started with. They're all very similar though. We typically have a cleaning kit and a cleaning kit. We typically have a Ningxia Red kit, which is an amazing antioxidant drink, which we probably need to tell some stories about today. We have an essential oils kit. So I don't know why the camera keeps changing here, but this is an essential oils kit. We're going to walk you mainly through this kit because of the fact that everything else is pretty understandable. Like, how to clean your house, how to drink something, but essential oils have so many powerful uses that is like needs a little bit more explanation than everything else. But not to worry, we're going to teach you all the things and show you the resources to find out all the things. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jackie to talk first about how the oils in the starter kit have helped her family.
Hi everyone, so Jackie all the way from South Africa, and I'm just going to share with you a story, and with sharing the story also share my love for the oils. So the reason I started to use oils is I have a history of colon cancer, but I did take very good care of myself. And I realized, like Ali and Anna mentioned before, it doesn't really help that you only take care of your body by eating healthy, but you should also take care of not only just what you put on your skin, but your emotional health, what products you use in your home, and in general, be conscious of everything that you use, the air that you breathe, the water that you drink. So I have 5 oils with me that I'm going to share with you, and that's basically, I can't say my top 5 because I absolutely love all the oils, but 5 oils that I would say you definitely need to have and that you can use every day. And the great thing is that you get these 5 oils also in your starter kit. So that's awesome. I'm going to start with the citrus oils. So orange and lemon looks like this. And like Ali also mentioned, it is cold pressed citrus oils. So what they are great for, if I can start with the lemon, is one of the reasons I use it mostly is for in and around my house. I love adding it to my whites when I do laundry. It's great alternative to use to actually help get rid of stains. and also to remove any greasy bits from, if you, for instance, take a label off one of your essential oil bottles to get rid of the sticky part. It works like a charm. Just drop a drop of lemon on that greasy part and remove it away. You can also clean your jewelry with lemon. You can take it orally if you feel like you have a scratch in your throat. Just take a drop or two of lemon in your tea. And also to get rid of an insect bite that's itchy, just drop a drop of lemon oil on that. So that's why I love lemon. And then also lemon's best friend is orange. So orange smell is a very familiar smell to all of us. So it's one of my favorite scents. And it's also great to diffuse in the morning when you get up, for instance, with peppermint to give you a nice energy boost. And it's also lovely to use in your skincare routine, the same with lemon. So both of the citrus oils are great to use for pigmentation, or if you have dark spots on your skin, to actually add it to your skincare routine. But remember, just a word of caution, that they make your skin photosensitive. So only use them at night. And then if you do use them, just wear a sunscreen in the day. And of course, a toxin-free sunscreen. So, and there's also a class that we do on skincare. So if you want to know more about skincare, ask the person who invited you to this call, and they will also invite you to a skincare call. So quickly to my other 3 oils. Another favorite is the Citronella Oil, also part of the starter kit. And most of the South Africans will know Citronella Oil quite well for our anti-mosquito repellent, but it's actually also got a lot of other benefits. One of the things that I use it for mostly is sore muscles. So it has anti-inflammatory properties, and it works great for if you have sore muscles from exercise or whatever, to apply directly to your muscles. Mix it with a carrier oil to nicely massage it into your muscles. And also for period pain, this is a charm. So apply directly over your lower abdomen when you have period pain, and it really works well. It's also great, obviously, insect repellent, and it gets rid of smells, especially in the kitchen. So great to use as well. And then Lavender and Tea Tree, I talk about them together because I always say these 2 are my first aid oils. So I am a registered nurse by my real job, and I like to have something as a first aid kit in my house that's not filled with all kinds of toxins and chemicals, or modern medicine. Let's try the oils first before we reach for pills. And I think if you just have lavender and tea tree in your house, you can treat a lot of things. So lavender, for instance, is great to use on burns. It's got anti-inflammatory properties, it's antibacterial, antiviral. Like Ali also said, it's a great antihistamine. So you might use it for, if you've got a scrape on your hand, you might use it for that. But also while suffering from sinus or seasonal allergies, you might even feel that you get relief from that as well. So a great oil to have in your house. It's also the king of the essential oils. You can use it neat. It's great for babies. It's a calming agent, so really an all-rounder. And the same for tea tree. So tea tree's got very good antibacterial properties. Also great to treat cuts and wounds and insect bites, and an all-round, like I said, antibacterial oil. So those are my 5 oils, and I am going to hand over to, sorry, I forgot to check. Taryn.
It's me.
I'm sorry.
Thanks so much, Jackie. That was really, really awesome. And yes, lavender is my first aider, and everybody in the family knows as soon as anything happens, they just know. Go for the lavender. And it's so awesome that like my family already know that. I think they knew that within like the first week of starting the oils. It was like drummed into them. So I want to share with you just a little story. So I think a lot of people really battle with sinus and nose and colds and seasonal allergies and those sort of things. And most of us have like our go-to over-the-counter nose spray that we always have on hand, or we know that that's what we're going to go and get at the pharmacy. And I know, like, for example, my husband was one of those people that had like chronic sinus issues. When I met him, he used to actually take daily what we have in South Africa called a Sinutab, but like the most, the strongest type that you can get, which is with codeine. And he used to take it every single day. And I remember still when we were like dating or newly married, I'd say, babe, I'm going to the shops. Do you need anything? He'll say, please just stop off at the pharmacy and pick up some Sinutab. And I was like, this is really weird. But anyway, so to this day, you know, we've always wanted to find something that can help him with that. And on my phone, one of the first things that I ever saved from when I started using oils, which is a year ago this month, it's like my little oily anniversary, I'm very excited, is a nasal spray. So I want to share with you how you make this nasal spray, because it's absolutely like being a game changer in our family. First of all, like my husband just doesn't suffer from any sort of allergies or sinus issues anymore because he uses the spray daily. I battle with post-nasal drips. As soon as it starts, I use the spray, it's gone. And as soon as my kids, you know, start to get congested or they pick up something at school, that's the first thing that we use. And we just don't buy any over-the-counter pills, antihistamines, decongestants, sprays, or anything anymore. I think in South Africa, you know that like everybody has Iliadin. We don't buy it anymore, which is absolutely fantastic. And that's what we always had in our house. So this nasal spray is made up of all the things that you find in your South African starter kit, which is so, so exciting for me. So it's 2 drops of peppermint. And if you're making for children, you can replace the peppermint with eucalyptus, because the peppermint does make it a little bit burny. So I've actually got one for the adults and one for the kids in my house. Then we've got our 2 drops of Thieves, and Thieves is the amazing antibacterial, antiviral, anti-everything that you just, like, life will never be the same again, for the better once you have Thieves in your life. 2 drops of the amazing lavender that Jackie's already spoken about, and then 2 drops of purification. And you add that to, I'll type it all up and put it in the chat when I'm done, but it's about a cup of water and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And it makes quite a lot. So I've got a jar like this, and you put everything in the jar and you just shake it all up once it's done. And then you decant it into an old bottle that you've got, or you can buy a new one, and that's it. I mean, you can see I've got my little nose spray on here. The other one I've got says Nikki's nose spray because it's specifically for my daughter, so she knows that that's her one. And that is what we use. And the most amazing thing about this is that you can use it all day, every day, because it's 100% natural. And we know a lot of the over-the-counter ones say, you know, don't use for more than 3 days or 5 days, or whatever, because of all the bad things that are in it. So I think that that's a must-have within every family. And then just to kind of add on to my story, you know, with us all being in lockdown recently, and in South Africa now we've gone to level 2, and we can kind of visit and see friends and stuff. And we spent the day with some friends last weekend, and of course the kids were out and they were playing and they were running around, and it was absolutely wonderful for a change as opposed to being stuck inside the house. And the very next day, my daughter woke up and she was all congested. And I was like, oh my word, the first day out. And you come back and you're all congested. It's like, you have to go to school tomorrow. We need to fix you. So the first thing we did was we grabbed the nose spray. We used it. It started to help her. And then I brought out my favorite, which is RC, which stands for respiratory care. And the exciting thing about this is that this month's promo is that if you buy the starter kit, you'll get a free RC as well. And this is something you really, really want in your house. So I've been rubbing this on my daughter's chest and on her throat, and then also diffusing it through the night. So she's lying there sleeping with just breathing in this amazing RC. And within 2 days, she was 100% better. And so this I also use, by the way, when I go for a run. I also just rub it on my chest, and I don't know if it's psychological or not, but it definitely makes me feel better going for my run. So yes, some of my must-haves, and I'm now going to be handing over to Debs.
Thanks, Tara. Hello, everybody. And wow, this is really a beautiful call, guys. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for your stories. a lot of stuff there. And I've been using oils, Young Living oils, since 2004 when I lived in the US, and I literally cannot live without them. There's a few stories I'll tell you about. I'm going to talk to you about Thieves, particularly, well, not particularly, Thieves, Valor. Here's Thieves. Here's Valor. And my all-time favorite, Peace and Calming. This is just the good night, chill the heck out, go to sleep stuff. So I'll tell you quickly about Peace and Calming. Peace and Calming for me, when my daughter was 2 or 3, I got introduced to the oils, and I used to put it in her bathtub at night in some Epsom salts, because remember that oils and water don't mix, so you need to put it in some Epsom salts, and then you put it in there, and used to just fill the whole bathroom up with this beautiful smell, and also diffuse it in her bedroom and underneath her feet. Good night, sleep tight. And it's the honesty, and it puts, I read to Emma every single night for I don't know how many years, for years and years and years and years. And it also calms you down. So you're lying with your baby and your young child, and you yourself are calm. So they feel that as well. And it's very peaceful. You know, instead of saying, okay, good night, see ya, sleep tight, and bolt out. It just calms everybody down in the whole house. So it's a really beautiful, beautiful oil. And anyway, we moved back to South Africa in 2011, and I couldn't get my Peace and Calming or anything. I bought a certain amount with me, and I used the very old diffuser, and well, it broke. So that was the end of the diffuser, and I finished up my oils. I was like, oh my gosh. Jump forward to 2018, where Young Living comes to South Africa, and we could still order the American. And on my very first order, it was Peace and Calming. Like, my very first order was Peace and Calming, and I put it in a diffuser in her room as a surprise for her. Now, bear in mind, she's now 16. We left the US when she was 9. So we're talking about a long time. And I put it in, and I'm waiting. I'm the anxious mom. I go fetch her from school. I bring her home. Fabulous, fabulous. Get her in there. She goes, you're joking. I said, yeah, Peace and Calming. So just remember that I tell this story because I want you to know that these are not a quick fix thing. Sometimes they are, like, you can, a burn, you throw lavender on it, 100%. But something like Peace and Calming, just use it consistently with intention, because that is how oils are created, with intention, with a purpose. So if you use it with that purpose, you are going to gain such beautiful benefits from it. And honestly, I had a friend of mine here today, and I've known her since we were dancers together. And she's sitting here, and she's suffering from something, and we figured it all out, and I'm getting her oils. And she's like, Debs, your place smells amazing. I just have the diffuser going all day long. My orchids are growing wild like ridiculous. And everything's just happy. Everything's happy. I actually had orange and eucalyptus radiata in today, which was so beautiful. So beautiful. And you get those in your starter kit. So I would highly recommend those two for starter kit. Anyway, that's besides the point. Coming back to, so Peace and Calming, absolute go-to. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Then, of course, there's Valor. And I'm not the girl who's going to tell you what's in the Valor and what it does. And I know one thing. Valor for me is very grounding. It's very calming. It gives me courage. I stand up a little taller. I feel better. These are all things that I feel, okay? I'm not the scientist. I've never been. And all the medical and technical stuff, I look up. That's just how I am. And I have used Valor since 2007 when I did a detox. My mom passed away, and I saw how many pills. I come from a full-blown pharmaceutical family. There's so many pharmacists in my family. So I was brought up with, you've got a headache, darling, here's to Stopain. Seriously, filled with codeine, and off you go. Seriously, okay, so no. So I had huge stomach issues, as well as being anorexic at 16 because I was a dancer. So, all of that stuff. And then I get introduced to these oils. I'm like, what the heck? This is amazing. So I did a huge detox in 2007, and took a lot of courage. And my girlfriend said to me, you have to get Valor. And I'm like, okay. If it was not for Valor, I don't know what I would have done. I use Valor every single day as my perfume. Okay, now I'm using different oils as well. There's Release, and there's a ton of different oils, you know. But Valor, for me, the fact that it comes in your starter kit is just pathetically ridiculous. I mean, it's insane that you get Valor and frankincense in your starter kit. It's two of the most powerful oils personally, for me. I see you nodding your head, Sam, because they really, really are. So that's a huge win. Frankincense and Valor in the starter kit, I'm like, thanks very much. However, so Valor for me is just everything. I absolutely love Valor. And then we get to my absolute, I love the way I say everything's my absolute best. Isn't that crazy? Everything's my best. Yeah, anyway. So it is. I'm just obsessed with oils. So Thieves Oil is a must for everything. I know that Jackie spoke about Thieves, and I also know that Taryn spoke about Thieves, but Thieves has got eucalyptus radiata, lemon, rosemary, cinnamon bark, and clove. And we all know those are antibacterial, antiviral, anti-this, and da-da-da. Ali was just saying that she doesn't want to fly to South Africa because she doesn't want to wear a mask for 36 something hours. Anyway, so go back to 2009. Now my father dies, okay? Bless his heart. Now he dies. So now my sister and I get on the plane from the States because I'm still living there. Now we're flying back. And I have got, Ali, I don't know if you remember, they used to do hand wipes. Thieves used to do hand wipes. They don't do them anymore, do they? They do the sanitizer. So I had my box of hand wipes. I had my spray. I had my Thieves. And I got busy on the plane. Like properly busy. My sister's like, you are freaking joking. This whole plane stinks of this stuff. I said, I will not get sick. I'm telling you now, we have to go and deal with a funeral and packing up a family's home and just, I'm not getting sick. So that is, I'm telling you, Thieves is your go-to for sickness. I didn't get sick. She got sick. Her problem. Your home, everything. If I'm in doubt as to what to do for a toothache I just throw Thieves. The mouthwash, Thieves mouthwash is beyond amazing. During lockdown, I thought I had an abscess on my tooth. I just took the bottle and just threw it on my tooth. Next day gone, and I love the taste. I know Bronwyn, I don't think she's on this call. She can't stand the taste of it. I could drink it all day long. I also gave up coffee. I gave up everything during lockdown, including a husband. So I went through quite a lot of trauma, but all the addictions that I had, and I talk about smoking and alcohol and everything else as an addiction. And, you know, there's other addictions too, but for me, it was a way to just disappear. So that's what I was doing for many years. And so I'd heard somewhere, and I can't even remember where, that you put a drop of Thieves onto your tongue if you're craving, whether it's sugar, for any cravings that you have with sugar. So I went through like a 15 ml of Thieves because I was dropping the Thieves, but I'm no longer drinking, no longer smoking. And every time I feel like something like that, I'm dropping Thieves. People think I'm nuts. I'll sit at a restaurant after a meal and I'm like, okay, fine. So there's so many things you can do with Thieves. And because it's such a powerful oil, it is so, I mean, Young Living is brilliant that they put it into an entire household range. I mean, why would you not want to have all this stuff, your home smelling like this? The dishwashing, the blah, blah, blah. I won't overwhelm you all because it is a lot of information. But I can just tell you that having used for so long and being a very, very proud of Young Living, a company with huge integrity and heart and just a gift. They're a gift to the world. I cannot tell you what a difference these oils have made in my life. And I really hope that those of you who are new, just take the time. You don't have to think about it. You have a support system, which we'll talk about later, that is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Ali, do you want me to talk about the support system while I'm on quickly? Should I just go for it? Okay. So oils aside. So now you get your kit and you go, oh crap, now I've got this 10 bottles, now what? Let me tell you, there is an app called Pocket on the Go. Can someone type in while I talk? Thank you, Pammy. Pocket on the Go. It has all the oils in it. It tells you all about the oils. It tells you how to apply them. And you can go and look up any illness or ailment that you have, and it tells you what to do. It tells you all about your VitaFlex points. It's just a wealth of information. And you know, there are many times that I just sit there and go through that app and I learn something new every single day. I learn 10 things new every single day with Young Living anyway. So Pocket on the Go, you get it at discoverlsp.com and you sign up and you get that. That's a huge, and 9 times out of 10, the person that enrolled you will gift it to you. And if not, it's absolutely fine. Just go and get it. And also that website's kind of cool too. There's a lot of stuff on that website that's amazing, actually. One of the biggest things, and I think for all of us who've been doing regular Zoom calls, are the Zoom calls. I mean, I learned something new. Jackie just told me about lemon. I didn't know that about lemon, that I could use it on my muscles. You know, I didn't know. So we're learning all the time. And the Zoom calls they're just great. I absolutely love them. And there are times that I can't make them. And I'm like, dang, you know, I couldn't make it. But we talk about different topics. There's also your upline. So your upline are your people that support you. The support team at Young Living, with all of us in South Africa, we're not just South Africans on our team. We have Americans, we have Australians, we have people in Singapore, we have people in Norway, we have people in Israel. So everybody comes together. The sharing that goes on is insane. The videos that we do are so wonderful. Ali's got a website, her Facebook page is Choosing Joy. It is a wealth of information, a wealth of information. But one of the biggest things that I think a lot of us forget is our virtual office. We're so busy looking for other places to go and find information. On your virtual office is so much information. If you start delving into that member resources, it is absolutely brilliant. And if you don't know something, listen, we all started somewhere. No question. In my home, we don't use the word hate, stupid, idiot, or shut up. Okay. So there's no such thing as a silly question, because we're all starting and we're there to help you. We are in I don't even want to call it the business. I'm in a world of helping people, whether it's talking to them or listening to them or just advising them. And trust me, guys, if I don't know something, I'm asking. And it can be asked 75 times. Nobody comes back with, have a look at that. There's none of that. You know, we've all got busy lives. So there's no rattiness. There's nothing. We are all on this journey together. And for me, that is, I don't know, that is one of the biggest things. I also wanted to say that we have WhatsApp groups that are incredible. And I've actually just started going through all my WhatsApp groups and started pulling information that I really need. Sometimes there's triple information on there, but I forgot about something, you know, and just know that you are not alone. And is it overwhelming at first? Hell yeah. Do you have to throw everything out and stop? No. Just go slowly. Just be kind to yourselves and go slowly. And just, you'll start to get your mindset, instead of going, oh my God, I need a Panado, you go, oh, hang on a minute, I can actually rub peppermint on. So make sure that your box is visible. Your oils need to be visible. There are plenty of times that the boxes are hidden somewhere and you forget about them. One of the biggest things for me is my oils are visible all the time, and I carry them with me all the time. So I don't need to pull that Panado or the Disprin or whatever. I have not bought cleansing products or any Western medicine, and I've just been through menopause, and that's a whole nother subject. I don't know for how long. I honestly mean it. I do not know for how long I have not gone to the pharmacy. So it is very valuable. You are not alone. I will shut up now. Who am I handing over to? To you, Ali Valley.
Yes. Thank you. Deb could talk about Young Living for till next Tuesday, because she's been doing it forever and she knows all the things. So it's awesome. Thank you. So There are some ways to save money with Young Living, and so I'm going to quickly talk about that. So the first way is get a starter kit. That is a great way to start with Young Living, any starter kit that you want, because of two things. One, it gives you a wholesale membership, which gives you 24% off of everything you buy going forward. So pick a starter kit, become a wholesale member. And the kit itself is always drastically discounted, no matter what country you're in. It is just, and it comes with a diffuser as well. And I don't think I said that to start with. So every starter kit with oils, at least the oil starter kits, all come with the diffuser. The second way to save money is that Young Living has an optional loyalty program with no penalty if you decide not to do it. But I will tell you is that once you start trying all the things, you will realize that you're saving money by buying from Young Living. And when you buy through Essential Rewards, you get a percentage back of everything you buy that acts like Young Living monopoly money that you can use to spend on anything from Young Living, which is awesome. So the first 3 months that you're on the loyalty program, you get 10% back. And then after just 3 months, it jumps to 20% back of everything you buy. And then after a couple of years on ER, you get 25% back that acts as your fund money, which is super great. You can either restock things or you can decide to try new things, but you just go in and spend them like cash. And they're really great. It's really a great program. I don't know any other loyalty program that gives 25% back. And that's in addition to your 24% discount as a wholesale member. The third way to save money with Young Living is that the founders of Young Living felt very strongly that everyone should have access to natural health support. And so what they did is they set up the company as a referral-based company. So when you become a member, you get a member number, and anytime you tell a friend about Young Living and they start using Young Living with your member number, you get paid a thank you check for sending them to Young Living, which is pretty awesome. So that's how you save money. Please, please, please reach out to the person that invited you to this class. They will make sure that you get the best deal. They will make sure that you get everything you need to support what's going on in your life. They will plug you into the resources, and they will make sure that you are part of this really amazing community. So please do that. And then I also wanted to say we have several classes coming up. So tomorrow we have a class, same time, same place, about getting into shape and some tips and tricks with oils. Thursday is a few of our favorite things class, which is always a favorite, where we share some things that we have had success with. And then if you are interested in either paying for your oils by telling your friends, or maybe doing this as a much larger income opportunity, this is my full-time job, you can join our class next Tuesday, which is about the income opportunity with Young Living. So anyway, we are so honored that you came today, and we appreciate and honor your time, and we're really excited to have you come along this journey with us. So everyone have an amazing day or evening.